We continue to hear from South Africans, ordinary South Africans, what they anticipate President Cyril Ramaphosa would say in terms of perhaps improving their lot. Now, SABC News reporter Chriselda Lewis is in Coronationville. She's at the Frederic Place Home for the Aged, and she is speaking to some of our senior citizens at the home about their expectations from President Cyril Ramaphosa, SONA, tomorrow. Chriselda, good morning, and interesting sentiments expressed earlier. So let's continue to hear, what it is that really matters to our senior citizens.
Well, Sakina, and certainly we're looking at, an aged population that is increasing in South Africa. So the hopes are quite high in terms of what President Cyril Ramaphosa will say in his State of the Nation address tomorrow, in terms of, how the elderly can be better looked after. So the sentiments that we heard earlier, about issues relating to gender-based violence, how the elderly are taken care of in the country, people who have, some of them given service to the country for many years. And the expectation that they have is that, once they reach old age, it's certainly something that we all cannot escape. We will be those elderly people one day. They're hoping that President Cyril Ramaphosa will have quite a lot of emphasis on how they can be better looked after. And you know what, Sakina? To my surprise, when I arrived here at Frederic Place this morning, the first person to greet me is a man who served South Africa for 41 years. And this is in the Johannesburg Metro Police Department. And he was a regular on our screens. He was a spokesperson for the Johannesburg Metro Police Department, Wayne Minnaar, who is now at the Frederic Place, home for the aged here in Coronationville. Wayne, it's so great to see you. It's been many years, I guess, now since your retirement, and you are at an old age home after having served South Africa for 41 years, keeping Johannesburg streets safe, keeping citizens safe. Perhaps let me speak to you as now an elderly person who is no longer in service, but you've given so much to the country. What is your expectation from President Cyril Ramaphosa tomorrow? What do you want him to say?
What I would really like to hear is that the senior citizens get taken care of, because getting old is a reality. And for the elderly who have done their part for their families and for having served the country, as in my case, been on duty 7 days a week, every day, and performing my function, and then now aging, ending up at Frederic Place, a home for the aged, is where I never thought would happen so quickly. But it has. I'm here now, and I'm with people of my age, and I have to do what the elderly do. So what I really want to hear tomorrow is that we get more as senior citizens. We really are being taken care of so that we can be comfortable. We have worked a lot harder when we were serving, and what we want to see is that, and here, is that we are able to get a better pension, a government pension for senior citizens to be able to say, well, look, we are now better off than what we were last year, and that we can look forward to a much better winter, and that we can be able to buy the medication that we need during the winter time, and be able to survive the winter.
Yeah. Wayne, just very quickly, you were in the crime fighting sector for those many years, and crime is still one of the major issues that South Africa is grappling with at the moment. The methods have changed. Do you think that perhaps better crime-fighting methods need to be put in place? Because the crime that was fought then, the methods, kidnappings are on the rise, and a number of other things or ills that we've not seen, operated this way many years ago.
Yes, no, look, we must benchmark with the best in the world, especially with the new crimes like kidnapping. because it's a serious concern which is on the increase, and we want government to take a serious stand to get better methods and officers trained to be able to act more swiftly, to be able to stop the kidnapping as it is currently happening. We also have an increase in the car hijacking, which is very bad, and that too we must be able to stop by taking a more serious stance towards crime.
Which affects the elderly as well. Thank you very much, Wayne. We really do appreciate it. Let's bring in Colin now, who is the General Manager here at Frederic Place. Colin, thank you so much for allowing us to come here today and speak to these senior citizens. I mean, it must be, you know, sitting at the edge of your seat every time the President needs to address the country on such an important day such as tomorrow. I mean, how do you hope the President will address some of the issues that you're faced with as old age homes?
I think, yeah, Chriselda, thank you for allowing us, or for you being here. For me, the President needs to look at the social impact. We are dealing with a vulnerable population. We know that the money that is currently given as a grant to the elderly is not sustainable. It's been said not just by myself, but many players in the country. We need to find a way to either help the elderly through better ways of giving bigger discounts or giving us extended grant packages, as not just as individuals but as homes, because at the end of the day we are sitting here with 85 residents, mainly who rely on a state pension. That state pension we put to good use. We do a full range of psychosocial services along with medication. We organize hospital visits. We do the holistic care package, but our money can only go so far. And you know, when we look at the context of our country, and like you said earlier, the population is getting older. What is it that we really care about? What is it that we really want to achieve? If we look at what we can do with 2,000 Rand, it's not a lot. It is not a lot. So I appeal to the President to look at policies, and not just policies that relate directly to the elderly, but policies that affect the elderly, policies on electricity, policies on housing, policies that eat away at that small grant that they are given, and how we can better our service. Because besides giving the care, food, medicine, etc., we have a different mandate, and that is to promote and let people know what elderly abuse is. We know the corruption is rife, but I feel that the policies that need to be put in place can sort of circumvent that, but also help stretch that 2,000 Rand. You don't have to increase to save money, but you can take away certain cost factors that impact that money. So, yeah, appeal to the President to look at the policies around grants and how the elderly benefit from this, because at the end of the day, these are the people that built the country. Yeah. You and I,
people such as Wayne.
Yes, 100%.
For many years, Colin.
For many, many years.
Thank you so much. We really do appreciate your time. And Wayne, it was really great seeing you once again. You're now a senior citizen. And again, thank you very much for your service so many years ago. It was always, one of the best spokespeople, that the media has encountered in this country. And now he's one of those senior citizens who is hoping that the 41 years of service that he gave to South Africa will somewhat ring, him and many others would ring in the President's, ears and in his thoughts as he addresses the nation tomorrow at the State of the Nation address, and take into account the elderly. Isn't it, Sakina? At the end of the day, we will all be like, as servants of this country, as journalists and anchors such as yourself, we're all going to be part of the elderly at some point in our lives. So certainly the sentiments that are being shared here at Frederic Place, they're hoping that President Cyril Ramaphosa, where he's sitting, preparing for that address tomorrow, will hear their cries.
Indeed, Chriselda, and that's the reality for each and every one of us. And great there having, that conversation, Chriselda, with Wayne Minnaar. And he's literally moved from the headquarters of JMPD down the road there in Martindale to Coronationville, which is not too far from there. So great seeing Wayne Minnaar. And yeah, you're right. He was one of the best, always available. It didn't matter when you called him, always ready to do his job and serve.